So I take up this matter now with great humility. I'd like to introduce myself to some of you who may know me. Perhaps you just know the name. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about who is Christine Cole. Okay? Christine Cole, my surname, that's the name I adopted when I got married. I was married for 18 years. Since then, I've been single for 20 years. So that's a long time. All right, so it's not my first name. I kept the name because I thought by that time I was already well into my professional life, and it had a nice ring to it, so I did not give back his name, so I did not give up the name. All right, so I am a mother of four adult children. They're all grown and flown. I have a grandmother of 3 beautiful granddaughters whom I get to spend a lot of time with. I come from a big family, from Orino, that's my origin. So I say that to say that there was some values that I inherited when I grew up that were inherited way back then when we didn't grow up with TV or anything like that. So it was quite different, and the communications were a lot different to now. I would describe myself as an introverted person. My quiet time I guard zealously. A good time for me is probably watching Netflix and reading. I still read a lot, so I really need my quiet time. So my hope is that I would get to know all of you at a personal level. Maybe that's ambitious. So I'm letting you know who I am right here. Professionally, I am a mediator by profession. It's a profession that I came upon, started about 14 years ago, after I made a pivot when some life crises were happening, and I decided to retool and reinvent myself. Prior to that, I was qualified as an administrative officer, administrative manager. So that's me professionally. I still work full-time by choice. I work full-time with the Equal Opportunity Commission as a mediator, a job that I really like and am passionate about. I also do mediation, family mediation, and corporate mediation, in addition to working full-time there. My journey with Soroptimism began, we just celebrated our 13th anniversary in August, Soroptimist Shiguanas. So it was about 14 years ago when I received, and I'll tell you a little story about how I came up. I received a letter in the mail inviting me to a meeting at the Shiguanas Regional Indoor Corporation. It had a date on it, and it was on a Soroptimist letterhead signed by Sandra Fernando. There was no phone call, there was no WhatsApp message or anything like that. It was invited to this meeting. I'm sure none of us will get invited to a meeting now by a letter coming in this snail mail. And that was just 14 years ago, all right? We showed up. A few of us showed up. I think Marilyn was one of them who showed up. She probably would have received a letter in the mail too. So we showed up, and there with Sandra, among other things. I remember Monica Barnes was at that meeting, probably a few of us. So it seems, in 14 years, so much has changed with the organization. We wouldn't receive a letter like that anymore. I still have the letter. I kept it, and I'll probably keep it. So I have been a Soroptimist. Our club started 13 years ago. And Soroptimism came at a time in my life where I really needed to do some things different. Things were different in my life, and I had not ever volunteered to be in an organization like that before. I was never passionate about activism or anything like that. But I said yes, and I'm glad I did. I just went out of curiosity, and I'm here. has taught me a lot, about service, about serving at a level, at a organized level, where you're part of a big organization. Because we would serve, our family would serve in the communities and all that, but very informally. So Soroptimism has given me that structure to serve in a wider capacity. All right. So, as I take up the mantle here to lead this organization, I see before me a face of wonderful 8 women spanning an age group from young and younger. And I am really, really happy and humbled to work with you. I've served on the executive for 4 years as treasurer, and then under the last 2 years as president-elect. I must say that when I said yes to the call for president to be to presidency, I was like, oh yeah, that's 2 years, that's fine, it's in the future, I don't need to worry about it. But it's here, and when the train is put on me, I realize it's real, it's happening. Okay? So, all right, so it's here. Am I daunted? Yes and no, because I know I have support. I looked at the executive with which I worked with before, and you all heard the things that were said about them, and they all true. I could say every word that was said about each of those women who served on the executive were true, and it was an honor to work with them. I'm going to miss Julie. I'm going to miss the ones who are outgoing, but I welcome the opportunity to work with you, Karen. You know, and it's different. I know the communications are different. I am anxious to work with all of you and learn from you. You know, how things are done, the new ways that we communicate, new ways that clubs are expected. So it's not going to be me leading from the top, but me leading from walking with you and learning from you and learning with you. Sandra has pointed out some stuff that needs to be issues that the clubs are facing, our National Association is facing, and they're issues we need to discuss. So we'll be discussing them with you to find out how best those issues can be addressed. I was asked by SITT to submit a theme for my presidency, and the theme I gave is working together to serve. And it was short, but it's for me, it's wide, because I've seen what we can do when we work together. So I look forward to us working together for our International Women's Day, which is not too far off. I thank you all so much for the cooperation when we hosted Nisha recently. That is another area where all the clubs, it was just heartwarming to see all the clubs come together and say yes. So I know that there are certain things that we can do. For me personally, it's really great to be out here to see faces again, as opposed to a little face on a screen, you know. It's really good. And as I come back up, I didn't realize how much I had missed it, you know, because the pandemic just went along and I said, okay, this is the new normal. But now that we're back out, I realize that I've missed it. So maybe I'm not such an introvert as I think I am. I have to rethink that. Okay, let me see if I say. So, I stand here after 60 years, 60 years, 62 years of Soroptimism in Trinidad.
No, more than 60.
More than 6 years. 62.
Coming on 63, 63.
Yes, what is being right. So, I know that there's a history behind me. When we were doing the time capsule, I got a good look into it. And 60 years ago, it looked a lot different. I think when I joined the club, Glenda, this National Association president, God rest his soul. You know, so it's something to build on. The times are changing, yes, but human values do not change. The human value, the spirit of helping, serving, and this is what we all said yes to serve. And we all have a special something that each one of us bring. Every single one of us bring a special skill to serve. And we look to harness it. The reports have shown how we have, as a national association, we have done well, but there's much more room to grow. So I look forward to interacting with all of you. On a bigger scale, Soroptimist International celebrated 100 years last year. So we're into 101, Soroptimist 101. Okay, so we laid the foundation again. Perhaps communication officer might hashtag that, Soroptimist 101. You know, as we move on to we are in year 101, to let us see what can we do differently. The challenges going ahead will be different. We have climate change. The last program action spoke about things, projects that we can do in peace and planet. Those are areas which we need to pay special attention to. So, I thank you. I thank you for the opportunity to serve at this level. I thank my club sisters who are here with me today, especially because I need you all out there to support me. All right. To all the clubs represented here, thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity to serve at this level. And with these last words, I say, let's work together to make Soroptimist the household name that I know it can be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Christine. So ladies, we move on to the very pleasant task